Revolution.
Bookmarklets on standby.
Log online, fan page loaded and ready.
Player stats, loaded. Health check, go.
Weapons check. Eyes check. Complete.
We have launched for the Informant podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Informant Podcast, your new source for information regarding Mafia wars from Zynga'd. Pistol Pete from Stockholm.
Live long and prosper.
And tonight I have with me Chainsaw Chester, Jana, Death by Gucci, and Jennifer, the Mafia Wars loot lady.
What's up? What's up?
Now Chester's here.
Yay!
I hear all you asshats missed me.
We did.
We filled in. We got the quadruple septuplet boost of asshat while you were gone.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I filled in.
The drinking game score.
That was hilarious.
Actually, the drinking scorecard from yesterday, this last show, was hilarious.
Who made that? That was funny.
I think it was Israel.
Migmetic.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was really funny, so keep doing that.
He posted it on the Informant Podcast page underneath the episode, and it was just hilarious. It was in the vein of football season starting, so it was really
I'll
good.
fight to interrupt Jana.
I loved it how
I think you won,
Chester
though.
still scored.
I did. I won. Does that good that I won? I had a high score. Or does that mean I interrupted more?
Yeah, I think you interrupted more.
You helped them get drunker. I think that was.
But I noticed there was a never Jennifer interrupts Pete.
No.
You have to read into that.
I just shut up when Pete's talking.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll
We'll get better at it.
I don't want to disrupt his flow.
Exactly.
Who's flow?
Pete's
Pete.
flow. He's got flow.
I got
Yeah, heavy flow?
Floby.
Well, it's hard when you talk about technical things because if you get if your brain thinks of about something else, you get off track, and it's hard to pick up where you left off.
Squirrel. Yeah.
Has anybody? Did you guys end up going to? Anybody going to any football parties today or anything, or just hanging around the house watching it?
Yeah, I didn't
House.
see any football today, period.
Oh, really?
Yep, no.
I was just
I
curious.
stayed up all night, so I slept all day.
I did gardening
Nice.
work, which is not my thing. I don't like to do that.
I don't
Gardening?
either.
Gardening, no.
Yeah, we have a garden too. It's pretty pathetic.
Mine's
That's
really
sad.
pathetic. I was thinking of hiring goats.
Well, we have two big gardens that are up, higher elevated, so the animals can't get into them.
Nice.
It's elaborate, but nothing ever grows. Stuff grows, but no tomatoes came this year.
Get a lot of weeds.
We got maybe 10 tomatoes.
But that's pretty good in Vegas.
Yeah, I guess.
You grew something in the desert.
And basil and cilantro, so I guess it wasn't all bad.
Nice harvest.
That's what she said.
See, I think everybody missed you, Chester.
Oh, yeah, we
Oh,
didn't have any. That's what she said on the last show.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
And
Did
There
you
wouldn't
have
have
any-
been any ass hats if it wasn't for Pete.
Yeah.
And the
Do you have
growler.
any
too.
growl?
I got a few growls in for you
Pete growled imitating.
in the beginning.
He
Yeah.
sounded
I
just
remember
like
doing
you
it in
for
the
a
other
while.
show.
He might replace you.
Master.
See, this should be a Friday show for our listeners.
I know, I
So we're
needed
going to start the
to
week off right.
Yeah.
You could have growled while I was ranting in the background.
Yeah, Frank, you can't listen until Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. Tuesday's his day. Awesome. So what's been going on in Stockholm this week? Anything new?
No, just
More of
gearing
the
up.
same?
More of the same. Just gearing up for the release of the toolbar. So, but other than that, not much. So.
I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
Okay, a lot of families are taking advantage of the Family Boss Fighter, and they seem to really like it. And I noticed there was an update today where you could check a box, and it would give the boosts out randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Because before it used to just give the top 5 that asked for them.
Actually, it started from the bottom up before.
Oh, it did the bottom up?
Which
Okay.
then was a frustration to some people because they were like, yeah, but what about those people that at the bottom that aren't really participating? Then you're not getting, you're helping them get a boost, but then
But
they
they're
may
not
not be helping the overall score.
Right, because a lot of people will just go in and attack a couple of times and be done with it.
Yep, exactly.
And
Was
that doesn't bother me because I think the people that are active, they want to get that higher score, so they get a superior item. So, if people just want to come in and pass out their boosts and click it a couple times to get 4 okay loot items, I don't see that that's a bad thing.
Right.
What were you going to say, Jana?
Oh, I have no idea at this point.
Oh,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Was there an interruption just to have an interruption?
but
Yeah,
there
I think it's good for people. Carry on.
But there was a request to see, because you guys are still going to update and work that to perfect it. But some of the feedback was saying that maybe not pass the boosts out right away, like kind of spread them out
Yeah.
of like the timing when you do it. And I don't know if anyone knew this, but if 2 people send the same person boosts at the same time, they're only going to get 1 set, and the other just goes into like the Zynga'd black hole.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So
I really like it. I think it's very helpful and time saving.
yeah.
Because
Well, I'm
it's
looking
really
forward to trying it.
frustrating. Yeah, it's frustrating to keep going back and forth. Like, okay, is my fatigue up? Can I attack? And so this way you can kind of set it and it will manage it for you. That's been really helpful.
What was the other thing that came up this week that I was kind of like, we've been keeping stats on the family ranks, and we've got spockon.me/family rank, and we've been keeping, each day we've been doing snapshots of the families at intervals, and it kind of keeps a history of who's where within the family ranks. Well, we've been noticing, and I think you mentioned it once before, Jen, that the stats are dropping.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out what's going on, and I don't have a good answer yet as to what's going on. We can only take snapshots of what's in the game. So I don't know if the stats were overinflated to begin with, and now all of a sudden Zynga'd's done a leveling, create the level playing field thing, or if in fact that like families are going through transitions of players, and the players that are coming on are affecting the stats.
That could be. I know that they do know about this, and they haven't addressed it yet. But I've been asking about that a lot because it's really making some families mad.
Right.
The statistics-driven people. It's not cool to be like, oh, we're almost at 3 million ISIS, and then the next day log on and you have like 1.5 million. You want to know what happened to those. And there doesn't seem to be a pattern. Like some families, it affects their kills. Some it's their ISIS. Some both.
Right.
But there's a lot of missing data out there. So
Yeah.
I don't really think, I think it's just a Zynga'd F up.
Could be. I was kind of curious. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on.
And before you could tell, because Martin, there was a 4-day stretch where that spreadsheet hadn't been updated, so you could look at it and see what you had 4 days ago, and then compare it to what you actually had, and there was quite a discrepancy. And then Ike showed me last night, like you all have a graph, so each family has their own graph they can pull up, and then you can see the downward slopes.
Correct. So again, if you go to the spockon.me/family rank and you look for your family in the list, if you're up in the top 50, I think is what's listed there, then
You can get, oh, sorry.
well, yeah, then you can go ahead and actually click on a family name and it'll take you to your family's individual stats. So you can go look at your icing history and so on, and that's what Jen's talking about, where there's the chart for your individual family. If you're not in that list, you can go ahead and I can't remember.
You have to enter your family ID number.
That's
and
what
it'll
it is.
Pull up your family.
Yeah.
And there
Do
is
it.
a script to get your family ID called Family Info,
Right.
if you don't know it.
Yep.
What'd you do without her?
Yep.
Zynga'd told us in the beginning that any stats contributed to a family member would stay in that family even if the people left. And when new people came on, none of their stats would come over. It's just what you've done while you were in that family.
Okay. Well,
So whether that's true or not, you have no way of really knowing. It just upsets people. That's what happens when you have too much stuff going on in the same game.
yeah. There's nothing we can do any more or any less other than display what we show. So
I wish more people understood that, because it seems like you guys get a lot of flack when things don't work, but
Yeah.
it's not your fault.
can't control things we have no control over. And
Like your mission crew link, you might want to talk about that update.
yeah, when the the new sports bar came out in the properties, we had created a link generator in the mission crew bookmarklet. Oh, dang, I did it. Spocklet.
Aha.
And what it did was it would create the links for you, and then you could share them on your wall, and then people can click on them and go ahead and do them. Well, that was working fine for a while, and then all of a sudden, now they're not working. So we're sure that Zynga'd made some changes. It's immediately when things like that happen, we take a lot of heat for, well, how come it stopped working? And it's like, the people out there that use our tools have to realize that whenever a game change takes place, we're not on the email list at Zynga'd that says, hey, guess what? We changed something. Get ready for it. Here it comes. So we do have to play catch up a lot of times with the changes that occur. We do what we can, and we're fairly responsive. I mean, we try to get to everything that changes as fast as we possibly can, but we're only human. We're only 3 people, and, we all have real jobs.
You guys do
beyond
great.
that, so
And lives, too.
yeah, and family and everything else. So, I mean,
I don't think people realize, a lot of people, that it's only you, Martin, and Ike.
that's Team Stockholm.
Well, you guys rock. So I think
Spock on.
Spock on.
There's a lot of things we'd love to be able to do in the game. If the developers would chat with us about some of it would be very easy for them to implement on their end that would have great benefit within the community and very minimal amount of coding time on their end, because all they have to do is expose, some data, and then once that data is there, then we can take it from there to do the rest. And I'll give you a what if they would create a way for us as scriptwriters to go in and submit a list of Facebook IDs or Mafia Wars IDs to a page and render back with ones and zeros whether or not those people are alive or dead, then, think of the fighting modules and stuff like that people are using. We could eliminate a lot of traffic on the servers for ways that people are now getting that information to determine live targets and dead targets. So, if they could do that, that would be nice. And if they want to talk about it, you know where to reach me. tip@informantpodcast.com.
And they did fly you out there, so it seemed like there was interest in communicating with you, but then that kind of fizzled out.
It feels like everything's fizzled out a little bit as far as communication goes with Zynga'd since Nate left. And I hate to say that, but it definitely feels different,
Yep.
That's what she said.
Well, I don't think anybody knows where to go with what Nate started with PAC and, what the idea behind it was and so on. And I think maybe over time they'll start catching a new breath on what that...
I think we just have to give them more time.
Get to know us.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Exactly.
We
do.
figure stuff out without them helping. I mean, it was nice to get heads up on features that were coming, but even if you don't, when it hits the game, we all figure it out.
Exactly.
And
or
sometimes
you do.
sometimes it's better not to have a heads up, because then a lot of times when I used to get information about features like prior to their release, it wasn't always what was seen in the game, and in my brain I was, thinking of what I had read before, and it didn't really jive, and then that would cause more confusion. And then I'd have to bust out 3 accounts and figure out what actually does happen. So I think from our end, sometimes it might be easier this way.
True.
True that.
Word up
So,
to that.
Jen, has
Yeah, keep... What?
has your week gotten any better?
I got sucked into that lucky stash machine, and I hate when I cannot use my free spins. I just can't. Because what happens is when I start with the free spins, when they're eaten up, I keep going. And I'm like, well, I remember Pete won 240 reward points. Oh, and the jackpot is high. And I can really attest that
You
machine...
won 241 RP?
Pete did,
Yep,
yeah.
I did.
How?
I just played it one time, and I don't play it very often, so maybe it
Luck
was
of the draw.
just darn
I
luck,
don't
which
either,
is
and
amazing.
that's why, because I can't stop.
Mhm.
I know. And then, if I see a post on the fan page or in my ass room that somebody won reward, I'll go and try, and then I won't stop, and then I've blown 100 reward points.
Man.
And I did I got
100.
2 spins that landed on the reward point button instead of the loot button, and I was super excited. But on one of them I got 20, and one of them I got 5.
Wow.
And so I left the lucky stash machine, because it's not very lucky. They shouldn't call it that.
Mm-mm. So what else is new this week with you?
We didn't really have a whole lot this week. The last show, the new property had just come out. the sports bar, they called it. And we determined it was all through spam. You got to ask for these parts. You have to ask your Mafia.